Sampling rate, I would keep this as is. There's really no need to adjust the sampling rate for an FID. FIDs are pretty robust and they're pretty sensitive, so it should be good. Um, Stop time, like I said, this is where you would manually type in how long your run is. Delay time, keep that at 0. And same for subtract detector, keep that at none. Here, we're using helium for our makeup gas. Here's our makeup flow of 24 mils a minute. And then for our hydrogen flow and our airflow for our FID flame, so hydrogen is set to 32, air is set to 200. So whenever you guys go and start creating your methods for your own specific projects, these are the makeup flow, the hydrogen flow, and the airflow for the FID is something that should stay the same numbers between all the methods. Like I said, that's just to make sure that flame stays lit. And it's
Standard.
no, there's no need to change these. These,
I mean, they are standard.
yes, exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, keep them the same. So now for line 2, we have the AOC 20, so that's that second tower auto sampler right there. Okay, so like I said, that one is for the TCD, which uses gas samples, and that has the gas syringe in there. So that gas syringe is 250 microliters, not 2.5 mils, and it says it right here. Here's your injection volume. So this window is essentially the exact same as the first auto sampler window for the FID. Let's see. Yeah. The important thing to keep in mind is going to be your injection volume and the number of rinses and when you want to rinse. As for all the other settings, I would keep them the factory settings. No need to change that. Under line 2, the SINJ, like I said, that's the packed injection port for the TCD. This is where you input in the temperature. The packed injection port, like I said, the TCD, like I said, it has the reference line and then the sample line. So that's why we see right here, this box says carrier gas helium, column flow 20 mils a minute, and then reference gas helium at 20 mils a minute as well. So that is something that essentially should stay the same as well, you know. Okay, then for the column, this is just in reference to our packed column. Yeah. So we have temperature right here. Equilibration time, like I said, looks similar to the column tab for the FID.
We usually open these cells just to check the layout. Or we never change anything. Or no.
So whenever you create a brand new method, I cannot remember. Yeah, I cannot remember which of these parameters are the factory settings and which ones we had to manually type in. Yeah, so like I said, we have method for the FID when we ran samples, and then method for the CCD. So I would always just refer back to there for your FID, makeup gas, hydrogen and airflow, and then look at the TCD method for the where'd it go? Yeah, for the carrier and reference gas for the TCD injection oil. Okay. So this tab is for the TCD tab under line 2. This is where you input in the temperature. If you want to acquire data, you have this box checked. So since this method is only for the FID, technically I didn't have to check this box. If you are using the FID to record data, just make sure you input in your total runtime. And lastly, you can input a number for the current right here, but you know what? Let me see real quick. Because Thomas was telling me even if you input a value for the current in the software, it does not transfer over to the detector. So I want to see if that works. So after I change that, I need to click the download button to apply that change. Yeah. So it did change it. That's great. So with that being said, you could manually change it in the method, but keep in mind that if you change it in the method on the software, well, yeah, not only that, but you also need to click download to apply it. And second, if that method that you have open and you change the current to 0, if that is the method you use for your sample runs, whenever you get ready to run samples, just make sure that the current will turn back on. Yeah, if you turn it to 0, right? Yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Okay. So that's how you go about inputting in GC method parameters for whatever you want the temperatures and the flows to be on the instrument for your specific sample analysis. Make sure. Okay, so I just want to briefly touch base on this tab. This is the general tab. All of these boxes are checked. I do not remember if whenever you create a brand new method, if these boxes aren't already checked. So whenever you guys go to create your own brand new method, just try to reference back to the methods that we use for our runs to make sure that the boxes for the general are checked. Yeah, because importantly, under the general tab over here, we see auto flame on and reignite. Those two boxes are checked. So if for some reason the FID flame went out, um, with the reignite box checked right here, it'll try to light itself back again. And then the auto flame on. So if I would have actually had the detector on when I open up this method, if the flame wasn't on, then it would try to light it itself. But like I said, I would light the flame, turn the detectors on for the front panel. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so lastly, uh, this, or I guess second to last, is the heater tab. It says Con1 temperature, so that is actually this right here. Yes. So, oh, that's 47. Yes, but I would. This is whenever you need to say in the 40 to 60 range. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a little confusing about the TCD column is that technically you like I said you have the pack column in here, which that's what this add heater tab is in reference to temperature wise, and then let's see. See how I hooked it up now we have it red, it's not ready because we're losing all our heat. It's pretty hot. Yeah. So so do you guys see this little coiled metal tubing right here? So that is technically the second back to column in the TCD float pad. But since this packed column that's inside of this box is so short, we added this second column right here. This second column is more of a restrictor to get more to produce more back pressure. No. You see right here this metal right where my feet is. Yes, but it's called a column, but think of it more as a restrictor to add more pressure. Because this packed column, like I said, so the capillary column, this one is 30 meters long. 30 meters is pretty long. Whereas the packed column here for the TCD is only 2 meters long. Much shorter. Yeah. So since the packed column is so short that it's not producing enough back pressure for the TCD detector. So that's why we added second column, which like I said, think of it more as a restrictor to add more pressure. Okay. So that's what your actual separation that's occurring for your cat column for your TCD environments is occurring. Yeah, so this has the stationary phase side of it, whereas this column in here doesn't have a stationary phase. It's just, a small inner diameter to give us more back pressure so that TCD can operate. All right, so now that I closed it, here, turn it back on. So since I've already clicked all the buttons on the front, I'll let somebody else clear out that area. Yeah, so you'll see an error over here if you have the software open as well. So even if I click OK there, it will not disappear from the front panel until we get rid of it. Yeah. Yeah, push it a little harder. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, so essentially what kicked on whenever I closed the column oven door was the oven, or sorry, was the fan. So it was cooling everything off because we didn't clear that air. Because like I mentioned earlier, when something is really hot, we want to make sure we're flowing gases through it. So whenever that air popped up, they quit flowing gases through everything. So that's why whenever we closed the column oven door and did not clear out the air immediately, it was trying to hurry and cool everything down in the column oven so that nothing gets damaged. So that's just a way to think about it. So now that we cleared the air out, now all of our gases are flowing through again, and since the column oven is hot, nothing's gonna be damaged since we have flow now. So we're good. Okay, and lastly, this bottom button that says Add Flow, we see this item at the top says APC1 pressure, and it says helium, and it's set to 52 kPa. So this is another one of those settings that should stay the same between all methods. So essentially what it is that it's this APC1 pressure for helium is going to the column oven box to essentially allow for additional pressure since it's going into the column oven box to make sure that your samples are actually being injected and going through the column and going out to the detector. So always make sure the APC1 pressure is set. So the major things that should essentially stay the same between all the methods, it's going to be under the add flow, APC1 pressure for helium, 52 kPa. Essentially all of these boxes should be checked all the exact same. Sampling time, sampling rate, stop time, sampling rate, delay time, subtract detector should stay the same. As for polarity, we have positive and negative. So if for some reason you have a sample where whenever you're running it, all of your peaks are going down, negative instead of going up, all you have to do is open up your method, change the polarity to the opposite of whatever you have selected. What else should we say? Oh, as for your methods, whenever you create a new method, the columns that we're using should be the same columns, unless you guys install a different type of column. Okay, so for the packed injection port for the TCD, the carrier gas and reference gas should be the same across all methods. What else?
We can copy the method file if we need to get all methods. So just copy the method file in the standard one.
Yeah.
And then it is.
Yeah. So essentially, we could start tweaking this specific method here, and then when we go to save it, we'll just click Save As, rename. Yeah. So that'll be an easy way to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Starting with this class.
Exactly. Yeah, and then for the FID detector, what should stay the same is going to be makeup flow, hydrogen flow, and air flow. Make sure, and like I said, column for the FID should stay the same across all methods. Yeah, that's it. Cool. Okay. Yeah, we can go ahead and do it. But so since